In today's YouTube video, we are going through a complete tutorial from start to finish when it comes to using Google Forms. So Google Forms is an incredibly powerful tool which you can use within your business, within your organization, or even within your own productivity in order to level up your game. Specifically when it comes to our company, my company, crowdcrux.com, I tend to use Google Forms a lot when it comes to helping people create new products. If you're trying to create a new physical product from scratch, it's a great way to survey your prospective users to get their insights on benefits, features, functionality, all that kind of stuff, and really get much higher quality data. I think at the end of the day, Google Forms is designed to help you get qualitative and quantitative feedback, be that from your employees, be that from your teammates, your customers, your prospective customers. It's an incredible way to really supercharge this and allow you to make much better informed decisions based in data. Tend to also use Google Forms a lot when it comes to surveying people through marketing. So if we're doing a marketing campaign for a client and I'm trying to get qualitative and quantitative data on the audience itself, for example, if we're launching an upcoming Kickstarter campaign, what might they pay for the specific product? What features actually got them excited about it? If you're trying to do a crowdfunding campaign, why do they relate with a specific nonprofit cause, right? There are so many ways in which you can use Google Forms to really supercharge your approach, be that you a coach, a consultant, if you are a business owner, you're trying to launch a new e-commerce product, you're trying to raise capital from the crowd, or even do a nonprofit fundraising campaign. So many ways, and that's what we're talking about in today's YouTube video. Okay, welcome back to this video, and I do want to preface this in saying that I am not an IT manager, I am not an IT expert. I really view myself as someone who's helping other people reach their full potential. And I think that the only way you can do that is if you're using tools which empower you to be able to go out there and to actually crush it with relentless energy in pursuing your goals and pursuing those goals in your business or in your life. So if you're trying to start a new business, you're trying to start a nonprofit, you're trying to collaborate better with your team, even as a coach or consultant, get more information on people who are looking to enroll in your programs, or existing students and understand how you can service them better at a much higher level. That's really my goal at the end of the day. So first of all, let's kind of get started here with this. So when you come to Google Forms here, all you need to do is create or try forms for work. It's super easy. You just sign in with your Google account. And as you know, it's part of the sort of Google suite that comes with Google Workplace. I do pay for Google Workplace. We have actually a bunch of different people on my team that are using this as a platform. So if you're interested, you can obviously check more into the Business Standard Edition there, or you can just try it out for free, right? And you can try that with Google, which is a really nice feature. Once you actually go and you set up your account, you're going to have a screen that looks something like this. Now, what I like about Google Forms is that you can have your own templates if you want to, in addition to some of the templates which Google actually provides. So if we see here, you can have a template gallery where you actually, if you want to, go first of all through general templates when it comes to forms. So for example, for work, it could be event feedback, it could be a job application, it could be a work request or an order form, customer feedback. There's so many different general forms that are available within Google Forms to make your life easy. So you just got to customize it, right? You can sit back, you can have some Diet Coke, you can have a bowl of popcorn, you can enjoy, and you can let Google do most of the work when it comes to that. Wherever you are located in the world, I think that everyone enjoys not having to work as hard and being much more efficient. In addition, there are some great forms here when it comes to personal use, for example, gathering contact information, an RSVP, party invite, etc. And also for education is a really popular use, and one that I use because I do group coaching, of course. And I also have many different students out there from my individual coaching and my group coaching programs, and we will use Google Forms to really get a sense of where they are and also to their expectations when it comes to different programs. So for example, you can have assessments, worksheets, course evaluations. All of this can be accomplished through Google Forms. So first of all, if you want to, you could very easily create a form from a template, and that's kind of how we're going to start here. So we'll start here getting a new tab. And I'm also going to show you really quickly, we'll do one other one here, maybe also go into the job application. We'll open up this one so you guys can see this. And lastly, we will go into... We'll do one more, which is a assessment. We'll do an assessment here. Oh, actually a quiz. Quiz could give us some really good functionality. So I'm really approaching this from you being a novice. If you are a beginner, if you're someone who doesn't like using technology, but you want the result of technology, this is really who I'm aiming this video at. The great thing about this as well, like I mentioned, is that you can have your own templates within your company when it comes to Google Forms. So whether that's ones related to leadership or employee quizzes, those kinds of things, it's very easy for you to create your own templates when it comes to Google Forms. And lastly, we'll kind of get into this video of creating a blank form and doing that from scratch so we can go through all these different segments. So let's kind of fast forward to the most efficient way of using Google Forms, which again is using a template. So we got the worksheet set up there. Boom, it literally took a couple of minutes there. Is that not incredibly exciting just to see all that work done for you in a DIY format? Makes life so much easier and you can get back to doing what you love. So when it comes to this, there are a couple different forms here and features when it comes to Google Forms. So first of all, this is all based in the information which you want to gather from a participant or someone who's going through this process. So you might, for example, gather their name, their email. Think of this as kind of like a worksheet. You can very easily drag and drop and replace this image if you wanted to. You can see here on the right, adding image. You could import questions if you wanted to as well, which we'll talk a little bit about later. You can have titles, descriptions. You can import or add a video. And if you wanted to, you could also add another section here. So what is the difference between these? And we'll kind of, first of all, talk about some of these different items. So options, we can have checklist items. We can have, options when it comes to toggling. Other things you could do scale if you wanted to. So there's a lot of different ways in which you can have a question of the reader or of the viewer. So for example, multiple choice is one. If you want people to be able to leave a paragraph as a reply or as an answer, a short answer, something really short and sweet. You could even have a drop down. A drop down is going to be like a menu items that drop down, so a specific question, and then these are the different drop down items which they could select from. You could, if you wanted to, allow people to also upload files. Think about that. If you really wanted to, you could allow people to upload a resume or something like that if it's for your company. Or if you wanted people to upload a selfie, maybe that they took using one of your physical products, doing a Kickstarter campaign, Indiegogo campaign, crowdfunding campaign, we want them to upload something else. They could easily do that when it comes to Google Forms here. Some other ones as well, you can also have some specificity when it comes to file types, maximum file size, all that kind of stuff. If you wanted to have a linear scale, this could also be a way that people will say from 1 to 5. Maybe number 5 is I absolutely loved my experience. Number 1 is I really didn't like it, right? You could also have people grade experience on a certain scale, or maybe the degree to which they want to own something, or the degree to which they want to participate in something. You could also have a multiple choice grid, as you can see here. Multiple choice grids I tend to find be really great when it comes to quizzes, but if you wanted to, you could explore more of this functionality on your own time. You could even have a checkbox grid, date and time. This could be if you want people to specify when they're available, for example, or when they could do a meeting or a specific time. When do they recommend calling them if you're doing a coaching call, or, hey, I'd love to follow up and to get your thoughts on this particular product. How might I do that? Or what would be a good time to call you to really, in person, maybe even schedule something like that. So a lot of easy ways in which you can do that. So these are, again, some of the questions which you can add very easily. And you can also format, if you wanted to, the different sections here. So if you want to have a title here, so like title number 1, that's going to appear much larger when people are actually filling out the form and checking out the form. Other things here in terms of the title, if you wanted to, you could change up the bolding, italic, underline. You could even hyperlink, right? You can insert a link and also have a description here if you wanted to further describe that information. And I'll kind of get into some of the best practices as well as we go throughout this video. So the first takeaway here is that you have a full suite of features in order to customize the look and the feel and the information which you want to gather from this. And the easiest way to do that is to choose a template if you want to, and to come here on the right-hand side, and you can very easily add a question. You can import questions. You can add your titles, images, video even, and I'll get into it in a second here, these different sections. So we'll then also get into a little bit more of the design. So the way that this functions is that this form itself is divided into different sections. So hear me out here. At this point in the video, if you're like, oh my gosh, this is so confusing, it is actually super simple. It's divided into different sections. The reason why is that the human brain can only accept so much information at one time. And sometimes you don't want to go through like 50 questions that you have to fill out in a form. You'd rather instead go through like 5 sections of 5 questions each. It just makes it psychologically much easier. That's one of the things I love to do. I have a digital marketing agency where we help different clients raise money successfully when it comes to e-commerce. We help them also set up websites. We help you with blogging, content creation. We help on a lot of different fronts when it comes to digital marketing. And one of the biggest hallmarks of digital marketing is always be aware of the mindset of the person who is going to be buying from you or is going to be going through a process, right? So the way we do this is you will divide your Google form into different sections. So each of these sections are designed to gather multiple bits of information. And I wouldn't go beyond, I'd say, maximum 5 questions before you begin to add in another section. And in this way, people are going to go through these sections easily, and it's going to be almost like a progress bar, right? As they're going through, continuing to the next section, continuing to the next section. And that way you're going to have a much higher completion rate when it comes to your forms there. So a couple of things we want to go through here. First of all, if you do want to speed up this process, because I know it's a little bit slow and it's a little bit annoying, you can very easily duplicate sections. You can move sections down if you wanted to, like you made an error or something like that. And you're like, oh gosh, I wasn't thinking I should probably put that section first, right? You can easily reorder these just to speed up your time. And that's the name of the game here, is just making this more efficient for you. So first of all, you can very easily, like I said, change up the sections. If you wanted to speed up this process even more with creating your forms, you could also duplicate the sections. And of course, you can delete any ones that you don't need. So next of all, I want to kind of go through the functionality bit just to jumpstart that. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the design. So what's going to end up happening is that when people start to go through this survey, they are then going to have their responses be cataloged here, and it's going to show up, and you'll be able to see this. If you want to, you can toggle whether or not you are accepting responses. So maybe at a certain point in time, you want to turn it off, and you can turn it back on. You can do that. In addition, I highly, highly recommend linking this to a Google Sheet. The reason why is that it just makes it so much easier later for you to analyze the data. Or you can give this to an intern to do, right? If you don't want to do it yourself, you could easily just give this to an intern, right? We love to give the work we don't want to do to the interns in our companies, right? So you could just give this to an intern, and very easily then it's going to have the timestamp, and then all the information as well, which you're capturing from that form, will be automatically, the moment someone enters that information, be synced up to this very simple Google Sheet. So that way people don't have to come back to that original form and go and look through all these responses. So I would again recommend looking at this. In addition, we have some different settings when it comes to accomplishing the Google form. So a couple ones would be if you wanted to make this a quiz. Now, I believe I opened up one of these to give you an example. We can go through that a little bit later. There is a quiz. A quiz is a little bit different functionality, so we'll go through that a tiny bit later. If you are enjoying this video, by the way, please give me a thumbs up and let me know. If you like my teaching style, my no-nonsense approach, if you are excited to use this tool to forward your mission, to forward your vision, to accomplish new goals, give me a thumbs up on this video. Okay, so let's get into this. Some of the other things that you can do in terms of the settings, you can also manage the responses. So for example, you can collect email addresses if you wanted to, and in that way, Google is going to automatically verify that this is an email address that adheres to email address format, right? So if you wanted to, you could toggle that on. The other thing is if you wanted to as well, you could send the responder, the person who's going to be actually going through the form, a copy of all of their information and responses which they submitted. Up to you if you want to do that. You can also allow responses to be edited after submitting. And also, if you really wanted to make it more secure, or you wanted to make sure that this form doesn't like leave your staff, your office, your organization, your nonprofit, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Or your schoolroom, if you wanted to make sure it's only available to people within your organization, you could toggle this on so that only the people in your organization are allowed to complete this. And if you wanted to as well, you could limit it to responses. The other cool thing here, and this is again such like nitty gritty, nerdy, like scientific information, right? But I do think that this does allow you to present your information much more powerfully, so you can get more people giving you the data that you want. So you can go and take that data and you can execute upon it. If you want to, you could have, for example, a progress bar. You could, if you're doing a quiz, for example, shuffle the question order. I think that's very useful for a quiz. Or if you want to have non-biased, for example, ordering of questions, if you're doing something like a survey, and I'll show you an example of how you might do that in the future. You can also have a confirmation message after the response has been recorded. So for example, your response has been recorded, or awesome, man, I will get back to you within the next 48 hours, or here's a link to move forward, or something like that. You can very easily customize your confirmation message within these settings. You can also have a link if you want people to go through it again, which I can't think of too many reasons why you'd want to do that. You can also, and I think this is actually really interesting. So I run a blog, crowdcrux.com, and actually a forum as well, kickstarterforum.org, which has more than 10,000 members on it. Believe it or not, more than 10,000 members. And I have a Facebook group, a couple of groups, but my main group has over 10,000 members. I got a LinkedIn group with over 10,000 members, all with people that are business owners that are looking to really impact the world for the positive. And one of the things I love to do is I love to send out surveys, right? So I can gather responses, and I can also allow people to see the responses of other people. And it's kind of cool because then they get really excited and they can actually share that survey with their friends, right? So if you're doing something like that, it could be a really powerful way to engage the crowd. Some other ones as well. You have some defaults here, which you can see. Default would be like collecting email address or not. And then some question defaults as well if you want to have quiz questions or make questions required by default. So I'm going to let you go through that on your own time and really, tailor that as well to the type of data which you want to gather when it comes to this form. So at this point in time, if you do want to just say, for example, like, Sal, just get to it, show me what it's going to look like, right? You can click the send button. And again, if you want to, you could email this to people within your company. If you wanted to, you could also share this with other people, add this to, so the intern can help you, right? When it comes to editing this or making this better. So you could email it if you wanted to. You can also embed it. I talked about having a blog, right? crowdcrux.com. You could also embed this on your blog or on your website or on a landing page. One of the things we do with my digital marketing company, CrowdCrux, is we will create landing pages and websites for clients who are looking to get more leads, who are looking to get sales, who are looking to, build their online audience, etc. So we might embed a form like this on one of the landing pages if we want people to enter some data and information so we can better understand who they are, right? So you can embed it as well in a landing page or a website. You could share it on social media very easily, you see here. And lastly, you can have a link. And this is probably the way that I use it most. I use it most when it comes to the links, and I'll explain why in a second. But you can shorten that link, copy, and then open up a new tab, and you can just paste that link in there, and it's going to go to the Google form. So what's so powerful about this is you could send this out via email, you could send this out via social media, you could even run an ad to it, you could put it on different pages of your website. So easy to send people through this form. And we didn't customize this, a tremendous amount. And I guess we have my public email there, guys. If you do want to email me, you can always email me. I don't respond to everyone, but I do love to get some fan mail once in a while. We do get a lot of emails, to be honest. But so for example, if we were to, we're just gonna put in some information here when it comes to time, and they select an option, right? We didn't really customize this at all, but it's going to go through then section number 2. You see here, page 2 of 3. So they would enter some information here. They'd enter your email here, right? And maybe we'll make it more plausible. Johnny is such like a common name. Johnny Appleseed, right? I don't know where you are based. I'm actually based out of Miami, Florida. I grew up in Massachusetts. I lived in New York for a couple of years. Johnny Appleseed, I just think of, for some reason, I think of America a lot more, obviously. Okay, next, if we had an image, we could do that. You go here, next, question about a topic. So you could answer that. Maybe we could have some information here. They have to read through, maybe they toggle 1 or 2, they answer another question, and then they would kind of get through this. To be honest, like, I hated going through quizzes in school. It was literally my worst. I hated doing that. Although I went to school at a pretty decent school, George Washington University. Okay, so then it says here, your response has been recorded. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfill Right today. Link in the description. So let's check back and just kind of see really quickly, did that work? Did that actually work in real time while I'm recording this video? Oh my gosh, look at this. We actually got a reply. That is so exciting. That happened in milliseconds. That happens so fast, right? And if you wanted to as well, you could copy different sections of this to your clipboard, and you could paste this in your presentations or paste this in different areas that you wanted to. So you are already supercharging your knowledge, right, when it comes to Google Forms and how you can actually use this within your goals, with your company, with your vision when it comes to the way in which you want to impact the world. Super cool. Let's also check here in the Google Sheet, and look at that. Like I said, my friend, and that deserves a subscribe. Like, you gotta subscribe to this channel after seeing that. That happened so quickly. It happened exactly as I said it would. And look at that. We already got a reply here as well. And you can open new sheets if you want to analyze this. I actually do a lot of data analysis when it comes to, for example, coaching students that I'm working with and those kinds of things. So if you want to, you could open up a new sheet and you could have some data analysis or assign someone at your company to do that. So we got that data, we got that information. What's the one thing that we missed out on here? Well, it looks not so great, right? So maybe you got the engine of a Porsche, you got the engine of a Ferrari, but it's like in a car that's like the most ugly looking car ever, right? And no one's going to buy that car, even if the engine is incredible. No one's going to believe you, right? So we got to make this look a little bit pretty. We got to make this look nice. We got to seduce those people that are going to be taking this form. So first of all, how do we do that? We come here to customize theme on this little artist, really beautiful artist palette here. And then you go and you can look, if you wanted to, you can customize the text, the style of text. So if you want to change this to Times New Roman for the headers, it's going to change that there. If you wanted to change as well the questions here, you see it changed automatically. The questions will go as well to the text. So it's a little bit more old style, Times New Roman there. We could increase the size if we wanted to a little bit. Let's have the question size be a little bit bigger. So that way I don't have to wear my glasses to really see this information, right? And if the header as well, we could customize from an image and you could actually pick a header. So you could upload your own, and I actually encourage you to do that if you know your logo or something like that. But if you're just kind of playing around and you want to have maybe, let's just say you're doing a survey of some kind, and this survey is to get information on a birthday, right? Or an event or something like that. You could very easily customize that here, food and dining, a night out, travel, all that kind of stuff. If it's more work related, and it's like, okay, we want to just like get information that's going to help us sell prospects, or we want to get more information that's going to help us with this, you could have just more of like a standard looking kind of headline header like that. And then there you go. It's going to update, and there you can see it changed the header and also changed the scheme. So you can change if you want to really get into this. To me, I have a designer that works with me that's way better than I am. At the same time, I do occasionally like customizing the look and feel of sort of my company documents. So if you want to, you could change it. You could make it look different. You could change the background, right? All these kinds of things. And really let your artist flair, let your artist flag fly, right? When it comes to doing that. These days, I don't get enough time to do that, but that's something you can do if you want to. So at this point in the video, I've shown you in a matter of minutes how you can get a Google form set up, how you can use a template to speed up the process, how you can duplicate different sections to make it faster and easier, the different types of questions, what responses are going to look like, how to get that set up and send a link to people so quickly that you can get responses nearly instantly, and how to sync that to a Google worksheet. So that way you can actually do some data analysis and use Google Excel or Google Worksheets in order to move this forward. So I'm going to go into a couple of other examples, but at this point, I do want to say one thing, and that's the quality of your company is really based around the quality of the data which you can collect. A lot of people in my audience are interested in launching new products. They're interested in doing things, for example, like raising money online for their business. So for example, I'm going to pull up an example here. If we come here to my Google Drive, I have a great PDF which I made showing people how to create a product from scratch. right? So if you're creating a new product from scratch, and this might not be specifically relevant to you, but you're creating a new product, you probably are thinking about the functions of the product, you're thinking about the features of the product, you're thinking about the benefits to the end user, constraints, limitations, where it's going to be used. You have a lot of information you're trying to gather and collect. You could very easily create a Google form to ask users questions like this. And if you want to, you could use this exact same checklist that I have, and which I make available to you free in my course. If you want to check out my free course on how to create a product, just come here, go to crowdcrux.com/make-a-product. I'll include the link down below in the description. You can sign up for my free course. You can get access to this and other information. And in that way, you can very easily set up a survey. Or let's just say you're trying to raise money online, right? I have wrote this book out there that I have available on Audible called The Kickstarter Launch Formula. A lot of people have said very nice things about this. This is how you can raise money for a new product, for a new business, for something new that you're putting out there, a new project, right? You can check out The Kickstarter Launch Formula. They actually have a great deal out there where you can get it for free if you sign up for a free 30-day trial of Audible, which I'll include the link down below if you want to learn more about this book. But I also have a free course out there on Kickstarter. And you can also get access to this at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. And what you can do is you can use Google Forms to get information about your audience. For example, what price point might they be interested in? What really screamed their name or got them interested in your brand, your company, your business, your solution, whatever it is you're building? What might they want to see in order to make a purchasing decision? What is holding them back? Do they feel any uncertainty about your product? What might they want to know more information about? You could create a Google form to handle all of that and to gather very valuable user information. So I'll include those links down below. So I'm going to go through one or two other quick things here on this tutorial. And again, this is really designed for people that are at a beginner level. And I would actually love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, what are you using Google Forms to accomplish within your life, within your business, within your work? Why are you using this specific tool? Okay, so first of all, when it comes to a blank quiz, right? This is probably one of the ones that I use a lot in my company, not only to quiz staff members, if they're going through a training program. For example, I have a training program teaching people how to become a coach, where we'll put people through that, or to become a project manager, I'll put them through that. Other training programs I have for students that are doing Kickstarter campaigns or trying to raise money for startup companies using WeFunder, I'll put them through different training and ask them questions to make sure they retain information better, but also to get a sense of their knowledge base when it comes to different areas, right? Or digital marketing even. You might have onboarding a new client for the digital marketing agency. Maybe they come to me and they're like, Sal, I want to put out blog articles that are informative and useful so I can get search engine traffic from Google. I can get tons of people checking out my website on a recurring basis. Help me do that. Or they're like, Sal, I need to set up a website for my business that looks epic, that looks killer, that looks like yours, right? How do I do that? And how do I make sure that I build this website traffic over time? And I'll say, okay, great. I'm going to onboard you, right? Here are some different questions we're going to need to know about you and your business. And I might have them go through a quiz or a Google Form survey. So first of all, when it comes to quizzes, this works a little bit differently than the other functionality with Google Forms. So first of all, you're going to have some kind of a question, and then you're going to have different options. So I would recommend adhering to a quiz format. So like option A, B, C, if you can, and then maybe like some of them will, for example, we'll add one or two more, would be like maybe one option. The different quiz formats out there would be like A and C, right? Or we'll just say B, or this would be C, right? We'll say B would be something, A would be something, and then we'll say another option would be, we'll add one more option here. This would be A and C. Something like that. Or we could say none of the above, right? Or we could have those different like kind of trick questions, like that kind of stuff. You could have that there. And then you could have this be required if you wanted to. So people have to select an answer to one of these questions. The key here, and what in my opinion makes this a lot different, is there is an answer key, which you need to have. So first of all, when it comes to the answer key, you're going to select a point and value here on the right. I know it's getting a little bit technical, but you need to select a point and value here on the right. So maybe one of these questions is worth more in scoring or evaluating a person's understanding of a base of knowledge. So maybe we'll put this at like 5 points. And then you need to select here which answer actually is correct. So we'll say A and C is the correct answer. And if you want to, and I actually recommend doing this because I think that if you put more information and more work into training a new staff member or to training a student who wants to accomplish a goal, goes through one of my coaching programs, right? It's going to make them much more likely to have a good experience and to retain more information. So you could say, incorrect answer if it's incorrect. Sorry, actually the answer is and here's why, comma, and here's why. You can see here link, or if you wanted to, you could provide a video, and this is obviously a little bit more sophisticated. You could provide a video saying, watch this video, which provides more information on this exact point. So for example, let's just say that they're going through a quiz and they don't understand how to set up a project or how to even use Google Forms. You could say, sorry, this is not the right answer. Watch this tutorial on Google Forms, and that way you will get the right answer next time, right? So a really powerful way to systematically train your staff, to systematically train new students, or used in many other cases also. For correct answers, I also think it's great to provide some encouragement. I'm a huge proponent of, if you're doing something right, you got to give positive affirmation. You got to make someone know this is something that they're doing right, to encourage that kind of trait or that kind of behavior, right, in someone else. So you could say, awesome, epic job, you got it right, right? Or that was a hard one, or something like that, or my gosh, like so impressed with that answer. And it adds more personality if you want to, and I think it really does make the learning experience much more exciting, which is really one of the hallmarks of this channel. My channel, I aim to demystify different subjects that are out there for you, make it a fun experience, make sure you love it, that you're having a good time, and if you do, make sure you subscribe, obviously, to this YouTube channel. Because I do try to put out information every single week that's going to help move your life forward, help move your business forward, help you reach your full potential. So you can go out there, you can kick ass, you can take names, you can make a dent in the universe, you can impact the world, you can build your empire, right? All those cool things, obviously in an ethical way that really impacts humanity for the positive. So that would be the answer when it comes to, first of all, how it's different here. So we would click done here, and now you have everything that's been set up when it comes to this question. At this point in time, you could move this around if you wanted to. You could also shuffle the option order, as you can see here. So this would shuffle things up. There's a lot of different ways in which you can, actually customize this. So next you go down and you go through the next questions and you kind of go there, and we're gonna delete this here for a second, and let's go, if we wanted to, we could click preview, so you can actually see what this is gonna look like as a preview, which we didn't do with the last form. Let's just say we'll answer A, click submit. Someone goes through that, your response has been recorded, and we'd have to set up more information to really see this, but if you want to view the score here, as you see here, this answer was incorrect. They got 0 out of 5. The correct answer was A and C. Sorry, the answer is this, right? So unfortunately, did not go well when it came to that one. Now let's go through this, and we had the privilege of cheating on our test, right? We know the answer ahead of time, which I've, of course, crossed my fingers, never done in my life. I have never cheated on a test, right? Okay, click submit here. Response has been recorded. View score is going to come up. Look at that. Epic. Awesome job. You got it right. You got 5 out of 5. So it would naturally tally up all the points when it comes to these questions, and that's how you would have a quiz. So at this point in the video, my friend, wherever you are hailing in from, whatever you're doing, first of all, I commend you for investing in your education, for really putting training at the forefront, to getting your hands on good quality information, and to really be willing to actually move forward in your life. So I commend you so much. We've gone through how to set up a Google form. We've gone through how to actually then do quiz questions. The last piece that I promised you, the last piece of the puzzle, is how to do this if you don't have any kind of template that you are working off of. So that's the last one that I'm going to do here. So we'll come here and we come to Google Forms. So first of all, this is what it looks like. You have an untitled form, actually very similar to many of the other ones that we saw here. The biggest difference is, there's no kind of header whatsoever here. So we'd have to come here and we'd have to customize a header to kind of get this started. If we want it to look a little bit nicer, So maybe we'll just do one that has kind of some interesting colors just to get our artistic flair going on here. I actually work with a lot of artists as well who are launching different crowdfunding campaigns for their music, for different books that they've written, for graphic design novels, for comic books. So really cool. I do a podcast as well. This is totally off the point, but I do a podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified, where we've actually interviewed over 300 people every single week, going through the ins and outs of how they were able to raise money successfully with their crowdfunding campaigns and get funding and backers and all these kinds of things I talk about on the podcast. They are in-depth, 30 minutes to 40 minutes long episodes, hearing from a real entrepreneur who's been able to raise 6 to 7 figures doing that, and 6 to 7 figures in sales when it comes to their business. So really cool, and that's actually what one of my passions is, just understanding other people and kind of what led to them being successful. So first of all, like I said, you can customize the header image, and then you can get more into the color scheme as well. You have as well kind of the standard things when it comes to the questions. So we can add a question here, and there we go. We got another question. We can add another one, and we can change it from multiple source to drop down, and maybe option 1, right? Option 2. So we got some information here, and maybe at the top we're like, oh no, we actually wanted to gather someone's name, right, before they actually got into that. So we can have here short answer, and we could say, what's your name, right? We can have that be required, and let's move that up so we get that first, and then they can go through these different sections. And if you want to then maybe even say, what's your email? We could then ask that as a question. I would say, though, if you are asking for the email, a better approach is to just go into settings here and to say that you want to gather an email. That's going to be the best one, and that's going to be, that way you get some better information when you do that. So you can collect an email address, and I think that's actually going to be a lot better, like I said. Some other things, so we have that turned off, so make sure we can have that. There we go. Okay. So what's your name? We'll just say as what's your favorite color, just to get some information here. And lastly, similar to the other sections, we can add into videos, we can add to images, we can add to different title, and if we wanted to, we could break this into different sections as well. So let's just say we wanted to add in another section. Boom. There we go. Now we have section 1, section 2, right? So we have some information here when it comes to that. Let's first of all preview that so you can see what that looks like. As you can see, we have the information here, have the email. So I'm just going to record my default email. What's your name? What's your favorite color? We'll go to next. There we go. Pops up. And then we can enter these two. We would choose option 1. Go through that. And we didn't customize any kind of other information, and we did allow people to submit multiple responses. Here we go, comes in. So we got the email, we got the name, and we got all this information right then and there. So this is a ton of incredible information. The last one that I mentioned is that if you really wanted to, you could also import questions as well. And you would do that by selecting another form. And in that way, you can import existing questions to help speed up this process even more. I would say it's a little bit more advanced when it comes to this specific tutorial video, but there you go. If you are interested in doing that, you can also do that. At this point in the video, if you're interested in launching a Kickstarter campaign, you have my free course available. If you're interested in creating a new physical product, you got my free course available there as well. And you have my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula. Lastly, if you're interested in getting one-on-one individual coaching with me, I do individual coaching as one-off calls, going through your entire launch when it comes to an upcoming product launch. I also do as well digital marketing, etc. You can check out my coaching at crowdcrux.com/coaching, or you can go to my website, crowdcrux.com, and check that out more there. The easiest way to get in touch with me, if you need help with things like digital marketing, if you need help when it comes to getting a website set up, or you need help with putting out content via blogs, you need help with advertising. We do a lot of pay-per-click advertising, Facebook ads, like all that kind of stuff. If you need help with that, you can come here to my website and you can contact me. And you can send an email directly to me. Might take me like a week to get back, honestly, just because we got a lot of people that send in emails literally every single day. Again, here's a great episode of my podcast that recently came out. Again, actually, we have more than 400 episodes. I misspoke earlier. This one was for someone who raised 5.8 million. And you can learn more as well about me. But go and check out my website, click the contact section, and you can get in touch with me directly. I hope you enjoyed this video going through Google Forms. Hope it was a useful, practical tutorial for you. Gonna start you off on the right foot, and really make sure that first step and that first foray into using this is going to be much better, much easier, and much faster than had you not watched this video. So thank you so much. My name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.